everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all well. Today I thought I'd film a short video just basically covering the subject of tongue and lip ties in babies. Now I know this isn't going to be like a video that every one of my viewers will be interested in, but I just hope that maybe by me filming this it will help someone out there, another mum perhaps. Now I searched like the whole of YouTube for a video like telling me about lip ties and tongue ties, and there was just nothing out there. So yeah, I thought why not make this and hopefully it will help somebody out there. So Ronnie, as a lot of you know, he was born on the 5th of March this year, so he's like 14 weeks old now. He has always struggled to feed him from birth. Like I chose to bottle feed from the start, and I guess I just assumed that I had a fussy feeder and that he just took his time, had wins, and basically just didn't show a massive interest in milk. And I just accepted that, and it was always a challenge to feed him. I guess from the start it wasn't terrible, and then it progressively worse as he got older. We had numerous doctor's appointments, we saw numerous doctors. They put it down to things like reflux, which he was prescribed Gaviscon for. The Gaviscon just literally blocked him up so much, he was so constipated that his symptoms were worse than they were before, so I stopped that. They then asked me to change his milk, which I did, and he didn't get on with the comfort form of milk, so he's on just the normal SMA, and they asked me to change him over to the comfort, and that just didn't do anything. They then asked me to change his teat flow, so I was using the Tommy Tippy anti-colic bottles, so I went up a teat, so a size 2 teat, to see if that would make any difference, and it didn't. And then they asked me to change the bottles altogether, so the doctor said the last thing you can do really is just change the bottles and see if he takes to a different bottle, which I did. So I got rid of the Tommy Tippy bottles, so I put them away in the cupboard, and I purchased the MAM anti-colic bottles. Now the teat on the MAM anti-colic bottle is a lot longer and it's flatter, so I thought it's completely different to the Tommy Tippy teat, so I'll give that a go. Ronnie took to these quite well at first, so he was drinking a lot quicker, and I thought, yeah, that's it, we've cracked it, there's a definite improvement straight away. And that went on for like a few weeks and he was fine, and then I started noticing even worse symptoms. So he gets sort of 5 ounces of milk down him, and he's, as I say, he's never actually been a massive feeder. To get like 5 ounces of milk down him, it was taking around like an hour and a half to 2 hours, and basically each feed was leading into the next feed, so I would be feeding him at say 6 in the morning. By the time he had finished that, he only had like an hour, and then he was due a next feed. So I basically just spent my whole day feeding. I guess the only plus side for me is that Ronnie sleeps all night, so I wasn't doing that throughout the night, it was simply just in the daytime. Yeah, I started noticing like worse symptoms with the MAM bottles again. He was really clicking on the teat, and every time he made the clicking sound he would get distressed, and then we would have to start the feed all over again because he just wouldn't take. And it was only that I was talking to a friend and she said, have you ever checked to see if Ronnie's got a tongue tie? And I was like, no. Like I just assumed that at birth, like when they go for their paediatrician check, all of that is checked over, and I didn't really ever think that I would have to check for something like that. So I had a doctor's appointment anyway for Ronnie, and I asked her opinion on his lip and his tongue, and she said it moves freely, it's absolutely fine, that wouldn't interfere with feeding, like it's absolutely fine. So I guess I trusted her judgment, and I thought, well, if she thinks it's fine, then it must be. She's the professional, I'm not. So I just went with it, and then things got really bad, and I genuinely couldn't even get an ounce of milk into him without like a massive fuss. So this was on a bank holiday weekend, so I took him over to our local like hospital to be checked over, and the doctor that I saw there, who obviously isn't my normal doctor, said, oh, has anyone pointed out to you before that he's got a lip tie? And I was like, oh no, I had that checked with my normal doctor and she said he was fine. And he said, oh no, he's definitely got a lip tie and possibly a tongue tie, but you would need to get it checked. So I went back to my normal doctor and basically got referred, and they said that the referral would take up to 3 months. And I was just genuinely at the end of my tether. Like, the one thing as a mum that I could do for my child of feeding him, I couldn't do. And it was really horrible, to be fair, and I was beginning to just get really distressed over it. So I done a lot of research online, and we came across like a page where they're private tongue tie practitioners, and they're recommended by the NHS, and they come to your home and they do an assessment, and if the baby needs the procedure done, they will do it there and then. So I called round to, there's like a list of contact numbers on there, and I called round and I come across a lady who was local, and she said, yeah, that's fine, I can come and assess Ronnie and see if he does have a tongue tie. If he does, then I can correct it there and then. So I was like, great. So she asked me to send her a picture over, which I managed to get a picture of his tongue, so I sent it over. She said that she wasn't overly worried about the lip, and she thought that that probably wouldn't make any difference on feeding, so I thought, okay, fine. So I sent her a photo of his tongue, and she came back and said she would definitely like to assess him, and she thought obviously it's difficult to look at a photo and decide, but she thought by the photo that he would be at least 70% tongue-tied, which was surprising for me because, of course, so many people at this point had looked in his mouth and told me that it was absolutely fine, and basically I had changed all these different things like bottles, milk, teats, everything, and really it could have been possibly resolved very soon. So the lady came, she booked me in, she managed to fit me in within 3 days, which was amazing, and she came to my home and she took a look in Ronnie's mouth, and she said that he was in fact 85% tongue-tied, so he only had 15% movement in his tongue, so he was very restricted, hence why he wasn't feeding properly. So she went ahead and done the procedure there and then. If I'm honest with you, it was pretty horrendous. I mean, it was over within a flash, but obviously he was very distressed, and as his mum, that was distressing for me. But he was fine within a couple of minutes, and yeah, she said that it should heal up very quickly. He's got a little diamond like a diamond shape underneath his tongue now, and he can move his tongue freely, and he is definitely making the most of that because he pokes his tongue out at me like every single day. And funnily enough, the lady took a look in my mouth and she said that I in fact have a tongue tie too, which I never ever knew about. So my mum always struggled to feed me as a baby, and doctors always just said she's just a fussy baby, and therefore I thought that Ronnie perhaps took after me, but it turns out we both had tongue ties. My mum didn't know about it. I mean, since he's been feeding better, there's definitely been an improvement. It's not 100% perfect, but I'm not expecting it to be. He's gone like 3 months of his life like trying to feed, and I guess he's picked up bad habits of how he's learnt to feed with the tongue tie. So instead of sucking the bottle, he's been almost like chomping on the bottle, she said. So yeah, I'm not expecting him to be like 100% perfect. He's still taking a while to feed, but that's fine. He may just be slow. And yeah, I guess one thing that I've learnt from this is you can't compare babies, and you can't, there was a time when I would get very distressed over the fact that Ronnie was taking longer to feed than other people's children, and he wasn't taking as much milk as them, but that's just babies, and we're the exact same, I guess. Like, you don't finish your dinner at the exact same time as someone else that's eating their dinner at the same time as you, and you don't want the same size portion as somebody else. So I guess sometimes us first time mums, we have to remember that babies aren't wind up toys, and I need to take my own advice for that, because it's hard and you do fall into that trap. So I'm finally relieved that we've got it sorted, and hopefully it's onwards and upwards from here. And funnily enough, Ronnie has decided he no longer wants to take the man bottle, and he will only take the Tommy Tippy bottle at the moment, which is strange. So I think that's probably just a phase. His tongue is healing, it's probably still sore, and I guess I'm just going to go with what he wants. That's just what I'm going to do, really. So yeah, I wanted to film this video just because I searched literally the entire internet for a video on tongue and lip ties. Lip ties apparently don't have as much evidence that they will interfere with feeding, so we are leaving his lip tie as it is at the moment. Said that he will possibly like fall over when he's a toddler or do something and his lip tie will snap itself. Not sure how gruesome that will be, but either that or once he starts going to the dentist they may decide to clip it there just for his teeth to come through. But either way, that's going to be fine. And yeah, as I say, I searched the entire web for a video on tongue ties. Obviously there are videos and information on like NHS and things, but sometimes I feel like it's nice to actually hear from another mum and to kind of hear first-time experiences, and I guess it's just helpful. So I thought I would film this and hope that it helps somebody. As I say, it may not be a video that all of my viewers watch, and that's absolutely fine if it's not, but yeah, it may help someone out there in the future or even now. So here it is. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to click subscribe and leave a comment if you've had a baby with a tongue or lip tie or you're currently going through it. Pop a comment and I'll reply. I'd love to hear from you all. But until next time, I'll see you soon. Bye.